It was 7:58 a.m. when the billionaire Richard Hale stared down at the last page of his company's bankruptcy papers. His hands were shaking. The pen felt heavier than ever. Outside, the city skyline looked cold, gray, and distant, almost like it had turned its back on him. For years, Richard had been known as a genius, the man who built Hale Industries from a single garage office into a billion-dollar empire. But now, everything he'd built was crumbling. And at exactly 8 o'clock, it would all be over. As he exhaled a deep, defeated sigh, a quiet sound broke the silence, the faint squeak of a mop. It was the cleaning lady. She was humming softly as she tidied the office, unaware that just a few feet away, a man's world was about to fall apart. Before we go on, make sure you hit subscribe, give this video a like, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. This story comes to you from Kindness Action, where we share true and inspiring stories that remind us, kindness can change lives in the most unexpected ways. Now, let's get back to the story. Richard had been in that office since dawn, trying to find a way out. His lawyers had warned him, if he didn't sign those papers, his creditors would come after everything he owned. He'd already lost his mansion, his cars, and almost all his employees. The press called him the fallen genius. His so-called friends stopped answering his calls. The only thing left was his company's final bankruptcy signature. He stared at the line that would seal his fate. Richard Hale, printed in neat black ink. He whispered to himself, maybe I deserve this. That's when Maria, the cleaning lady, walked in. She was a middle-aged woman in a green uniform, her hair tied neatly back, her expression calm but kind. She smiled politely, not wanting to disturb him. "Good morning, sir," she said softly. "Would you like me to come back later?" Richard didn't even look up. "No, go ahead. This place won't matter much longer anyway." Something in his tone caught Maria's attention. She hesitated, then asked gently, "Are you all right, sir?" Richard forced a small laugh. "Let's just say, this is the end of the road." Maria didn't know what he meant, but she saw the papers on the desk. She saw the pen in his hand. And for some reason, something in her heart told her not to leave. She took a step closer, her eyes scanning the document, not out of curiosity, but concern. "Sir, I'm sorry to ask," she said carefully, "but do you really want to sign that? You look like someone who's trying to give up, not start over." Richard frowned. "It's not about what I want, it's what I have to do. There's no saving this company. It's gone." Maria tilted her head. "Are you sure about that?" He sighed. "Yes, I've checked every number twice." Maria walked a bit closer. "I used to clean for a small accounting office years ago. Sometimes they'd leave papers out like this. I'm no expert, but, sir, I think there's something off with this form." Richard almost laughed. "I appreciate your concern, but this isn't just paperwork. These are legal documents drawn up by my lawyers." But something in Maria's tone, calm, steady, sincere, made him pause. "What do you mean, off?" he asked. Maria pointed to a small section on the third page. "This number here, it says 18 million in outstanding debt. But earlier in the document, under total liabilities, it says 1.8 million. Could that be a typo?" Richard blinked. He pulled the papers closer. She was right. The numbers didn't match. His heart began to race. "Wait, how did I miss that?" He flipped through the pages, eyes wide now. This changes everything." Within seconds, he grabbed his calculator, typing furiously. His mind spun through the possibilities. That misplaced decimal point wasn't just a typo, it completely distorted the company's financial status. His company wasn't insolvent at all. It still had value, and enough cash flow to survive. He dropped the pen and stared at Maria, speechless. "You just saved my company." Maria's eyes widened. "Oh my. I didn't mean, I just thought it looked strange." Richard stood up, his voice trembling. "Do you realize what you just did? I was about to sign this, to lose everything." He sank back into his chair, his head in his hands. "I've had dozens of lawyers, accountants, and consultants review these documents. Not one of them noticed this mistake. But you did." Maria smiled shyly. Sometimes, when you're too close to something, you stop really seeing it. For the first time in months, Richard laughed, a deep, genuine laugh. He stood and reached out his hand. "Maria, you've done more for me today than anyone else ever has." "Thank you." She shook his hand gently. "Just doing my job, sir." But Richard shook his head. "No, you went far beyond that. You reminded me that kindness and attention still matter, even when the whole world forgets." In the days that followed, Richard halted the bankruptcy process. He called in his team, corrected the error, and slowly began rebuilding his company. But something inside him had changed. He no longer cared about being the richest man in the city. He wanted to be the kindest. A week later, Maria came to work as usual. When she arrived at Richard's office, she found a sealed envelope on her cleaning cart. Inside was a letter from Richard. It read, "Dear Maria, you didn't just save my company, you saved me from giving up on myself. You reminded me that people still care. I've arranged for your son's college tuition to be fully covered, and I'd like to offer